Mills with Paleo Planet. This is part of a series on accuracy and Atlatl equipment, tuning your equipment to get the best accuracy you can. A lot of folks contact me and they tell me they're having trouble with their equipment, with their accuracy, and they're not sure what it is. 9 times out of 10 it's because their equipment isn't functioning as it should. It's not working as well as it should and as well as it can. A lot of folks, myself included, we start off and we're throwing kind of stiff darts. So you get bamboo poles from the garden supply store and trying to make darts out of them, and they'll work, but they're a little too stiff and they fly usually tail down for most of the way to the target, and then they even out. That's a sign, one sign anyway, that they're not properly spined. The spine refers to the flexibility of the dart. Darts have to flex quite a bit coming out of the thrower, and you know, the big question is, how do I know what's the right spine besides testing and knowing that they fly well? And one thing that I learned from other folks is that a real simple method, it's not very scientific, but it works well. At least it gets you in the ballpark, and then from there you can kind of tweak the system a little bit here and there, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But one way is to get a bathroom scale that's somewhat reliable, and you put the tip of the dart on the scale, and you just push down on the back end, and you'll notice that the dart starts to bend, and as soon as it starts to bend, take a look at the reading. You'll see 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever it is, and you'll notice that the harder you push down, it doesn't register anymore on the scale. It stays the same as when it first started to bend. And everyone throws differently. The more force that you put into the throw, the stronger the dart would be. Sort of like a bow and arrow. A 90-pound bow shoots a stiffer arrow than a 50-pound bow does. My darts, I like to have about to bend with about 5 to 7 pounds of pressure on the bathroom scale, and I find that they work really well. And you'll also notice that when I press down on the back end of the dart, it tends to want to flex in one direction or the other. It sort of favors a side. And if you always put that side up or down, whichever, you'll find that your dart will fly to the target better, because as they fly, they flex this way on a straight line. So if you find out where that bend is, face it towards the target. My target's over here. And you might even want to make a little mark on your dart so you know where that is. You have that bend in the right place. As they say, we learn a lot from our mistakes, and in this case, we could learn a lot from the mistakes of others. A lot of people, when they throw with an Atlatl, they tend to do certain things wrong. And I think it's probably wise for you to start with what not to do rather than what to do, because that'll help you get a handle on what to do. One of the first things is that people tend to throw like they would throw with a ball or something. We grow up throwing things and we put twist on the throw with a football or a baseball. With an Atlatl, twisting is a very bad thing to do. Here you want to come straight over and have the Atlatl stay flat to the target the whole way. And even though you may break over and follow through, it's in the throwing motion, it's coming right at the target, and the Atlatl stays flat to the target the whole way through. Another thing that folks do is they tend to try to guide the Atlatl to the target by sort of just pushing and stopping when they should be following through. The proper throw comes all the way over, and it's that snap at the end. You get to about here, and then your wrist snaps over. It's that snap at the end that really imparts all the force to the throw. And it's very important. A lot of folks will stop here and they'll just sort of try to push the dart to the target. And when they do that, the dart tends to fly kind of this way. It sort of loses that oomph. That pull at the end is what really sends it flying. It'll come leaping off the thrower like a cat jumping off a branch or something. So you want to come through, and you want to make sure you follow through and you snap. It's funny, I'm watching this thing as I go, and I'm not much in front of a camera, so I get a kick out of myself, how stilted and everything I am. I'm trying to run through this in one shot where I'm doing the audio track at the same time. In the other videos, I didn't do it that way because I say stupid things on the spur of the moment. So when I say stupid stuff, forgive me. I'm not an actor here. Anyway, we talked about some beginner problems, the stopping, not following through on the throw. Can't say enough about that. The follow through is incredibly important. You have to come through and snap. It's like swatting a fly. It's a feeling of just breaking over at the end. like a fastball pitcher. You're coming through and you're snapping, boom. Another problem a lot of folks do is they'll start with their arm down here or at their side, or they maybe see pictures, or there's people like way back here, they look like Olympians getting ready to throw. You want to just assume a kind of a natural feeling stance, and this may take a little while, but you want your elbow back pretty much. You want most of the movement to all be forward. You don't want to start here and do this sideways. You don't want to start like aiming at the target and then rear back and then throw, because what happens is if my point is on target here and then I draw back, the point is now up in the trees by my neighbor's house, and when I go to throw, it's going to go wild. So you want to start back. You want all your movement to be forward. You don't want to go back and then throw. You want to be back and you want to come forward. All your movement is forward, following through and snap at the target. Again, very, very important. A lot of folks, I'll try to get different angles on this. They come here, they're on target beautifully. If you stood behind them, you'd see they're right on target. And then they come back and the dart's like way off in space. No good. Don't do that, whatever you do. Another thing, if you think about how the dart's going to go, the most ideal circumstances have that dart pointed at the target. It's going to come forward and go straight in, hit the bullseye. The problem with an Atlatl is you got a 2-foot long piece of wood here, and as you throw, the tail end, if I just stood here flat-footed and threw, the tail end would rise up with the thrower, and then it would have to go forward as I came back down. So the trick that I find is to minimize that upward movement. Rather than coming up and having the dart have to go up and then forward, you want all movement to be as flat as you can and to minimize that upward lift. And it's almost like you have to pretend you're throwing under a branch or something that's over the top of you, and kind of come through and scrunch your body down a little bit, sort of like a fastball pitcher will do. All the way back, flat. So this idea of minimizing the upward lift in the back is together with the other things. Everything's important. But if you minimize that upward lift, you'll get much more accurate. You're starting back again. That number one rule, don't come cock back and then throw. Start back, all movement forward. You want to snap your wrist at the end. And you want to minimize as much as you possibly can that upward lift by getting under the throw. Kind of trailing, your arm trails behind you a bit. You get more bring your arm trails behind you a bit. You break over and shoot. I'm exaggerating things here so that you can see that.